So what he did is he actually made him whole again, giving him 22 grand.
These fucking pieces of shit, okay, rip you off on this fucking thing. It turned out to be 9-karat gold, right? Yeah. You had a check? Yeah. So they're gonna be giving you $1,000 on top. Here's 22,000 for your fucking trouble. These fucking bum motherfuckers, bro. You get people in this exchange, people in this. Stop being greedy pieces of fucking lying shit!
Yeah.
On tracks, I want this coming up on a fucking scheme every fucking time!
Yep.
Keep fucking scheming, bro! 9 fucking carat this, 2 carat that, this.
His ass right here, airing it all.
Kind of motherfuckers just try to strangle.
You could say, like, to be fair, Trax didn't. He was not the one that started that. The guy.
Where's my money?
And with Maduro's ouster, Venezuela's Supreme Court ordered that Vice President Delcy Rodriguez assume the role of acting president of the country. This comes after President Trump said that the U.S. will run Venezuela until there's a proper transition. With more on what happens next in Venezuela, let's bring in foreign policy expert Michael Parlberg. He's the senior non-resident fellow at the Center for International Policy. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Let's start with that point there about what you make of President Trump saying the U.S. will run the country temporarily without any real timeline.
Where's my money? That shit's insane, dude. That shit's insane. Whose world did I join?
What are some of the biggest challenges going forward?
Well, the main challenge is to secure some kind of democratic transition with the backing of regime officials who are not that committed to democracy. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to take out Maduro and leave behind Delcy Rodriguez, Diosdado Cabello, Vladimir Padrino, all of these figures who were part of the Maduro regime, unless you assume that Trump really did believe the talking points that he was given, that Maduro was
I don't want to listen to this shit. I don't want to listen to it.
Governments around the world are running out of investors that are willing to lend them money. You have long-term bond yields that are exploding higher, and every major government on earth is being forced into short-term borrowing, which could really become a trap that could trigger either a global financial meltdown or potentially the biggest economic boom in human history. Now, if that all sounds like some gibberish, then please watch this until the end, because I'm going to break it all down. I'm going to break down the issues that people really aren't talking about at the moment and why that will impact you. The thing is that everyone right now is hyper-focused on inflation. But inflation is not necessarily the biggest issue that we have in the economy right now. The real big problem here is that governments are having troubles selling long-term bonds. Now, because they're having trouble selling these long-term bonds, governments are being forced, or encouraged at least, to borrow in the shortest term that they can. For a little bit of perspective here, right now, global government bonds are at the shortest average maturity since 2014. And this is not normal, and it is extremely dangerous. Let me tell you why. The danger here is that when a very large share of a government's debt portfolio is maturing within a shorter period of time, then if short-term interest rates, which are usually set by the central bank, if they stay high or get any higher, then governments will face much higher interest costs very quickly. And it will constantly be refinancing trillions of dollars at those higher short-term rates. Even if rates don't rise, the constant need to roll over huge amounts of debt, meaning as debt becomes mature, they have to then issue new debt, okay, in order to essentially pay these investors back. So this is what governments are constantly doing. They're constantly rolling over their debt. Even if rates don't rise, then they're going to have to refinance more and more debt at one time when they keep issuing short-term debt. Because what happens is all of the old bonds that have been issued are going to come due. But then all of the new bonds that have been issued in the short term are also going to start to become due. So all the bonds that have been issued 30 years ago are going to continue to come due more and more and more and more. And you're going to have to issue more and more debt at one time at the short-term interest rates because the long-term interest rates are just too high. Now the thing is that if markets ever become unwilling to buy these new treasury bills at the quantities that a government needs, then this can create a crisis. Ask yourself for a second. Would you lend a government money for 30 years at 4.5%?
Hello, so let's talk about free roaming rats. Why to free roam them, how to free roam them, where to free roam them. Let's cover everything in this video because I get so many questions on this topic. So rats are high energy, intelligent animals, and keeping them time outside of their cage, one, is a good form of exercise, two, they can also interact with their environment, different forms of enrichment, toys, accessories, and finally allows them to interact with you and form a close bond with you. Now, different sources and different people will tell you different durations of time that rats have to have outside their cage every single day for free roam. And in the early days, I would have been one of those people that sits there and says that rats have to have at least an hour outside the cage every single day because when I was in, I would just leave the door open and most of the day they would come away. But now as a mostly fully fledged adult with responsibilities and chronic illnesses, that's not always possible, and that's okay. As long as you've got a big cage full of enrichment, full of things for them to do, and they've got each other, that is the main thing. It's okay to skip a stuff, but most playpens are at pet stores or in line for rodents. Not going to be suitable because the rats are going to jump out of them, and rats can jump really high, so most people tend to use shoe storage grids and stack these a couple of layers up. And that can be a really good solution to keep your rats safe. Just be aware that most rats are going to spend their entire time in that playpen trying to figure out how to escape rather than interact with the things inside of it, so sometimes it does make more sense to just wrap them in the room and let them go. So if you are choosing to free run them in their own room, or your bedroom, or living room, or kitchen, there are obviously some foraging toy. I can't remember where I got this from, but this is really good because you can hide treats in different sections. And then right behind here, the capture actually comes with a hammock again. We have this chew toy, I think. This is also from Heights with Climbers. Right at the back, at the bottom of the capture, I have got a plastic box. And inside of this is packing peanuts. These ones are dissolvable, so they are safe for them to eat. They're basically just starch. And this is probably their favourite thing in the entire room. They love to sit in here, dig in there, take them back to the cage. So that is at the back. And then in front of that is the hanging basket. Don't ask me where I got this from. I think it was from a local garden centre. But inside I just put some shredded cardboard, just have a bit of texture, and then I sometimes hide treats in this, and they do actually manage to get in and out of that, which is quite interesting to watch. Then moving down, we have this branch that's wrapped in sisal rope, just to give them something extra to grip on, and they do manage to walk on this really, really well. And next we start with a big box, which is a very, very long Christmas tree storage box from Argos, I think. It is bigger than it looks on camera. It goes all the way back under the table. This was further this way, but I kind of shoved it in to make space for other things. And at the back is a pot pot. They've just got a mixture of topsoil, some peanuts that made their way in as well. And then I also do place in live plants from time to time. So this was parsley, and they love to dig in it, rip this up, and eat it. Sometimes I will also place in like new worms that will go down into the soil, and they can dig and search for these too. Next to this is their pea fishing area, and this is surrounded by willow. And thankfully, I once started watching them, and I've never seen them get their hands or legs or feet stuck in this.
I'm
If
about
they
to
did,
leave.
I
I'm
will
just gonna
quickly
leave.
remove it. And then inside is just a glass dish.
I'm gonna let them deal
Now,
with
I
that.
did have a hole pea fishing.
I'm gonna let them deal with that shit, bro. I knew better than to do that. I still wanted to do it. Shit, fucked up my webcam. Now it's fucked. It's at the perfect angle. We'll never get the right angle ever again. You can get it perfect. I need to get more stuff for these damn rants.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video where I want to talk about safe beddings for rats and mice and know when to use which beddings. So I feel like this video is long overdue. I did film this a few years ago when I first started my channel, and baby me got scared and panicked and deleted the video because the comments did get a bit heated, and now I don't care. I would rather have that video out there with all of the information for people to use and interpret as they want. That to me is more important than worrying about my feelings getting hurt if someone has a different opinion. So I'm just going to do a redo and just put all of the information I know out there, and you can use it as you wish. So the first thing to consider with rats and mice is the bedding safe? So both rats and mice as a species are blessed with terrible, terrible respiratory systems, and they can be quite prone to respiratory infections, and because of this they do have to have a bedding that is low in dust and dust extracted. You do have to be quite careful because some beddings will claim to be dust free, and then you get them, you open them, and so much dust comes out when you pour them into the cage. So just be careful if you have a bad feeling and it does appear quite dusty. I would advise against using it. And also frustratingly, some batches of bedding, so like Carefresh or the beddings that I use, like hemp beddings, sometimes you just get a bad batch and you open them and a bunch of dust comes out. So it can be quite tricky to find the right bedding that is as low dust as possible. I think as well it can depend where you are in the world. The manufacturing process can differ. I have heard that Carefresh in the UK is a bit more dusty compared to the US version, so things like that are also something to keep in mind. Also, in terms of making sure our bedding is safe, if you are going to use softwood shavings like pine, you do have to make sure it's kiln dried, but I will get onto that later in the video. The next thing to keep in mind when picking a bedding to use is the bedding enriching? So rats and mice are very intelligent and active animals. They need to be able to exhibit their natural behaviours like digging and foraging, and one of the best ways to give them this type of enrichment is by using the bedding. Some beddings are just going to be a bit too heavy to use in the base of the cage, the main part of the cage, things like by Catalet or Back to Nature. These are like paper-based pellets. These aren't really that suitable to use in the base of the cage just because they are too heavy for them to dig and forage in, and they're also not going to hold burrows for rats or mice, so these are better suited for the litter trays. That's also why you'll never see me recommending fleece as a bedding. I know it is a very popular bedding, especially in the US, but I will just not sit here and recommend it just because it does remove that enrichment factor for them. They can't dig, they can't forage in this, and it's just very boring for them when you could provide them other options that are so much more enriching. So I really don't recommend fleece as a bedding, especially because of enrichment. It's also not a very absorbent bedding in the grand scheme of things, so it can get quite stinky quite quickly if you're not changing this on a regular basis. And also if they do get a bit bored, they can rip this and shred this and chew it up, and you are going to have to replace it quite regularly. So that's why I'm not going to recommend fleece in this video. If you are choosing to use this despite that, that is completely fine, that's up to you, but I do recommend at least giving them a dig box with an alternative substrate to dig in and forage in, and allow them to express a natural behaviour away from the fleece. So in terms of what beddings to use, let's start with the beddings to put in the litter trays. So if you're planning on or trying to litter train your rats, it is recommended to have 2 separate beddings, one in the litter tray and then one in the main part of the cage. This just allows them to differentiate the difference between where they're supposed to go and where they're not supposed to go. So for the litter tray, you are going to want to go for the most absorbent bedding possible because ideally this is where they're going to do most of their pooping and their peeing. And for this you are going to want to try a paper-based pellet litter, and the one I use is called Back to Nature. Also, don't be tempted to use traditional cat litter for rats and mice. These tend to be very, very dusty, and clumping cat litter can be quite dangerous if they eat this or ingest this. Wooden pellets, things like wood stove pellets, are also not recommended because when these get wet or they get peed on, they do tend to break down into like a sawdust texture, and again this is quite dusty, and that is going to affect their respiratory systems. So moving on, let's talk about the beddings to use in the main part of the cage. there is a big master list of beddings to pick for the main bedding in the cage, completely up to you which one you go for, or whether you mix and match them. Just make sure the one you're picking is safe. So to start with, there's a range of hardwood beddings to pick from. With these, I recommend going to local farm stores, or like tractor supply places, or horsey places. Anything aimed at chickens or horses in big bales is going to be way cheaper and more cost efficient for you. So you've got things like aspen shavings, which can be a bit more on the pricier side, and also hemp shavings, which is what I use. I use these for the rats and the mice, and these are very, very absorbent, and I tend to get these quite cheap. Both of these come without the risks associated typically with softwood shavings, so these are a really safe option if you're not entirely sure which one to go for. They're also both fairly loose and light bedding, so they can dig in these and forage in these very, very easily, which is what we want. Then you've also got cardboard beddings. These can come in little squares or strips that have been shredded up. This doesn't tend to be the most absorbent bedding, so especially with rats who may find there's still a bit of an odour, I would mix these with things like aspen or hemp to make kind of a mixture of bedding that's going to be absorbent but also fun texture they can dig in and holds burrows a bit better. Then you've also got soft wood shavings like pine, and this is a very controversial subject where people are very, very split. Some people will swear by avoiding them, other people will swear by using them, and I do recommend doing your own research and deciding if you're comfortable with this or not. However, it is quite common now for UK owners and also reptile breeders to use kiln-dried pine shavings without any issues. But it does have to be kiln-dried and also dust extracted, so please check for both of those on the packaging before you buy them and use them with your rats or your mice. This is a process to remove the phenols in the wood, and that's what's responsible for the smell and also what can cause respiratory infections. So please, if you are going to go down this route, please check that it's been kiln-dried before use. When you open up the bag of shavings, it really shouldn't have such a strong wood smell. If it does, it's probably not the safest to use with your rats and your mice, but some people do swear by this stuff and they use it all the time with their rats and mice without issues, just because it is such an absorbent bedding. Personally, for me, I tend to avoid this kind of bedding just to be extra safe. I did try it a few years ago with my rats and my mouse at the time, just because I saw so many people on Facebook groups swear by it and say they had no issues, so I just thought I'd give it a go. And straight away within putting the bedding in with the rats and the mouse, I noticed them sneezing and sounding quite rattly in their breathing, so I took it out. I got the entire bale out of the house and gave it to a horse person, and I've not touched the stuff since just to be safe. So I think because both of my rats and my mouse at the time had not the best genetics, they were a bit more prone to respiratory infections and they were a bit more sensitive, so I would recommend not using any type of pine, even kiln dried if you have rescues or rats that already have like chronic issues with their respiratory systems, just to be safe. But then on the flip side, I do have friends that are breeders and they have multiple rats and they're all on this kind of bedding and have no issues, so I do think it's entirely down to you, your situation, your rats and your mice's health situation, and it is a personal choice. You may also be considering using newspaper or paper you shredded up in your shredder. I wouldn't recommend doing this as the main bedding just because it's not the most absorbent and it's going to get stinky very quickly. You do also need to be careful with newspaper or printed paper. The dye used is not toxic, just in case they do eat this or ingest this, just to be safe. So I would recommend, if you want to, give them shredded bits of newspaper or tissue paper or paper in general, just as nesting material and enrichment, but as the main cage bedding, it's not the best. You may also choose to use beddings like Cagey Clean and Cozy or Carefresh with the rats and the mice. Again, just be careful these aren't too dusty and they're not always the most absorbent bedding, so I'd recommend saving these as nesting material or mix them in with another bedding. As well as that, you can also make the main part of the cage into a bioactive setup with rats or with mice. With this, I do recommend just doing your research beforehand and make sure you truly understand what needs to go into a bioactive setup to make it bioactive. Of course, you can just use the soil component and not add in a cleanup crew. This you will have to replace and turn regularly to prevent things like mold and ammonia buildup, but it is possible you can do a much more natural approach and use things like cocoa soil, cocoa fibre, things like that in bricks you can use as the substrate, or you can also use things like soil. Just make sure these don't have any like fertilizers in and they're completely natural and peat free. I think these can work pretty well as a bedding and they're really, really good for holding burrows. So you could do the natural approach and do a bioactive setup, or if generally when it comes to the main bedding in the cage, the best bet is mixing a few different types of beddings together because they've all got different pros and cons, and having a big mixture of both tends to be the best thing for holding things like burrows and tunnels, especially with mice. So with the mice, I'll tend to use the tent bedding, so orbiotes, and then mixing bits of hay that have been disinfected.
Before I used to talk about transgers or whatever, but in actuality, I think it's brilliant what they've done. How? Meaning, for you to develop in your mind that you're something that you're not and actually go through with it, it's damn it powerful. It's powerful to me because it tells me you could have been anything you wanted to be if you put your mind to it.
He didn't even say it. That girl even.
You gonna fry some chicken, you gonna need some. You gonna fry some fish, you gonna need some. You gonna fry some vegetables, you gonna need some. You gonna fry some bacon, you need some. No, you don't need no oil when you fry bacon, cause what? Bacon has its own oil. I want you to look over at somebody and say, "Me like bacon, baby." Every time the heat is applied, you just produce your own oil. You just produce your own oil and become what you were meant to be. You produce your own oil and allow others to taste and see that the Lord is good. Fry some chicken. Your eyes are not deceiving you. You just watched a 300-pound plate cleaner as eat a meatball. This alone might genuinely be the most athletic shit he has ever done in his life. I take that back. I just seen a clip of this nigga doing a tween behind the back spin move with his crack out. Yo, why are all of the big niggas just randomly sitting in the camera cooking up? They training for something we don't know, bro. Y'all better get ready, bro. Every time I see this nigga on my For You page, he's on 1 HP by eating food. This nigga genuinely looks inflated. Like, we gotta get this nigga some help. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Discord in the bio, join up, man.
Genuinely, what the fuck am I looking at? Thought about this and animated it. sideboard we got. It's exactly what I need. Now we'll get to the repair. Show when the repairs are out of the way. We'll see. Damn, this ain't gonna make no fucking sense now. Should have started the video earlier. Oh well. Out because my ADHD brain needs something to watch. Just put non-copyright. Copyright. Non-copyright music. Evidently I can't spell. The heartburn is coming. The heartburn. Ooh, that does not look like a trailer for me. Let me go look at it more here. I don't know if it's a low. I think that might be a low satellite. I should just walk like that. That doesn't even look fun to drive out here. Oh, thank God I decided to come. I would have got the saddle and realized I didn't even need it. Fuck me. I would have to go. So I'm tempted to go around the rocks. I got fucking man. I should have changed the rock. Well, I did it this time. Okay, that's what that meant. I wasn't sure. All exits. Okay. Well. I want to just fucking go to bed now, honestly, after that. That really just... Yeah, I gotta go to bed. hot, tasty mint.
Rats will occasionally develop them when the mother grooms off the umbilical cord and they're too rough and they accidentally nick the abdominal wall. But usually these hernias will either completely heal as the rat grows, or they will just never cause issues, even if they stick around when the rat is an adult. However, because Toast is a dwarf rat and therefore is quite small and was even smaller as a baby, I didn't feel comfortable leaving the hernia, and so I decided to go the preventative care route and have it repaired by my vet. And the breeder was very nice, and they reimbursed me for both of the girls, so that was pretty nice. But anyways, yeah, once that got repaired, Toast has had zero other health issues. She's been extremely healthy, even though she is quite old for a rat now. She has not shown any signs of aging or slowing down, but other than that, she is just completely healthy, active. She has zero idea that she's getting older. She still bosses around my younger rats, so she definitely seems like she is still doing extremely well, and I'm hoping she'll be around for a while yet. As far as personality goes, Toast is a very independent rat. She's very sweet and very tolerant. Like, she has no problem being handled or pet, but she does like to go do her own thing, and she really enjoys interacting with the other rats most. She's kind of more of a rat's rat, more than a people rat, that is. Her sister Butter was more of a kind of people rat, and even though Toast has, again, no issues interacting with people, being handled, or so forth, she definitely seems to get more out of interacting with the other rats, which, you know, that's just kind of her personality. She is a very sweet rat, though. She's a lot of fun to train with. Well, she is fun to train with now. When she was younger, she had the worst attention span I've ever seen in a rat. But now that she's older, she actually has a pretty decent attention span, and she knows all sorts of tricks. So yeah, that's pretty much Toast. She's a very sweet rat, and I'm very glad that she's still around, even though I do wish her late sister Butter, of course, was still around as well. But Toast is definitely doing the living for both of them, because she is very much enjoying bossing around the younger rats, and she just is very much living her old age to the fullest. Anyways, that is Toast's story. So moving on to my next rats, we have my girls Popcorn, Tofu, and Raisin.
Not ready to go.
So I look back at my old...
I'm not in the mood for this shit right now. I'm too tired. I'm literally gonna fall asleep. I'm too tired. Just me. Me. Spin quality or quantity.
Rats, either you rehome them or you keep getting more rats, and it's a continuous thing. And I wish when I did my initial research the term rolling group had come up, which is the concept of getting new rats every 6 months to a year just in case anything happens to your current rats, instead of waiting until they're 2 years or until they start to pass away, making sure you're getting that company, because rats aren't always going to be available when you need them, and it can be quite stressful. So making sure you're adding new rats into the group before things start to happen. The other thing that I wish I had known is about bedding. I had done enough research to know what beddings were safe or not, and I did start out with back to nature bedding on the bottom, which is quite expensive, and it's not really best for them to dig and forage in. And I had the thinnest little sliver of this on the bottom of the cage, and the cage base I had was actually pretty deep, but I never really filled that very much at all. So I had that bedding, and then I think I switched to cardboard like pieces.
My dad surprised me on my birthday with 2 little cars.
I was definitely skeptical that the rats would learn to drive the car at first.
But they were really quick to pick it up. The middle pedal accelerates it forward. The pedal on the left turns the car to the left, and the pedal on the right turns the car to the right.
They drive very similar to how a human drives. Biggest difference is that their eyesight is not good, so they really orient themselves by smell.
Cusco is definitely the perfectionist with this. He will keep adjusting the turning until he is sure he is dead on.
Learning how to brake?
Whereas Kronk can be a bit more chaotic.
Kronk will often just push the forward lever and not let go until he gets the treat.
It becomes a bit of a dialogue. Our rats communicate with us in so many ways just with the time we spend with them.
Hey, good boy.
They definitely show us, like, every day how in tune with us they can be.
He loves you. The best moment is when you see it click. They do it correct by accident, and you can see in their head be like, oh, that's it. It's fully open. They decide when to enter and exit the vehicle.
There we go. Good job, girlfriend.
made a quote-unquote good rat driver?
To drive 4 times, 4 clean drives, jumping in the car, getting to the Fruit Loop reward, and then coming back and doing that again. So only our enriched environment animals were able to do that. None of our standard house animals, they could get bits and pieces of it, but they were not able to put it together more than 1 time. So in that particular study, our standard house animals did not get a driver's license.
They have to wait in line to get the DMV to take their test.
Yeah, not fun, even for a Fruit Loop.
What kinds of vehicles do you give to a rodent in the lab?
We could not find one on Amazon, so we had to build our own. So we started with a basic plastic container, and we cut a window out and put the bars, the steering bars at the end, so that they could just grab the bars. They would complete the circuit, the electrical circuit, although the rats couldn't feel anything. And we added wheels. So that's our rodent-operated vehicle design. Very simple.
Or you actually could tell that they might actually be someone enjoying this process. Can you talk about how you were able to measure that?
So what we did with this last published study, once we taught them to drive, then we took the reward away. It's called extinction trials. And we did that for 4 days. And even the 4th day after they'd been driving and getting nothing, they would still jump right into the car very quickly. That suggested that they had a positive association with that. So that's one way we've gotten at this question of, is this a pleasurable experience or a positive experience? The stress part. So in a very glamorous lab that I have, we like to measure stress hormones in rat poop. We can extract the hormones, and we look at a stress hormone.
That's crazy. That shit goes so hard.
about the TP7 from Teenage Engineering. By lightly touching the spinning disc, you can manipulate the sound and create your own vintage lo-fi tape flavor.
That's why.
This is the coolest thing about the TP7 from Teenage Engineering. By lightly touching the spinning disc, you can manipulate the sound and create your own
Hey, hold up. This don't feel right. Now it don't feel right? I could have told you.
Let's say, hypothetically, I've a music subscription. We bought dirt cheap secondhand. Just to sync them up and export them individually as FLAC file. 0.4mm audio. Hey, it's fun and I like it. It's about purpose. It's about escaping notifications.
got me some food. Got me some food, gang. Got me some food. Wakey, wakey. Eggs and bakey. Mm. Mm. Mm.
Why would anyone?
Hey everyone, and welcome to another GT Online video here on the channel. So the Safe House in the Hills DLC is coming up on a month old at this point, which is kind of crazy that time went by that fast. But that means it's the perfect time to talk about the DLC as a whole, the pros, the cons, and everything in between, and just kind of give my thoughts on it. I always like to wait about a month after the DLCs before making the review video for the update.
staged for views. Is this a Christmas giveaway or a pep rally? But today we're talking about Aiden Ross, a founding member of Kick and one of their largest streamers. Aiden, he set out to host a Christmas giveaway that was supposed to be flashy, but also about giving back to the fans. And fans showed up, since they were promised prizes like, you know, PlayStation 5s, iPhones, and cash. And the event was framed as a surprise meet and greet near the Visalia Convention Center in California. Big names were also supposed to appear, so hundreds of people showed up very quickly, expecting something like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So from what I've seen, it looks like what they walked into instead was just a mess. Because according to multiple accounts from people that were there, the event never worked in a clear or organized way. Fans reportedly began gathering hours before the start time, some arriving as early as in the morning, which is pretty typical for these kinds of events because people are going to show up early. So if you're hosting this kind of thing, you should probably account for that. Despite the event being advertised for late afternoon, people waited all day without being let inside, with little communication about what was happening or when anything would start. And as the crowd got bigger and more frustrated, the situation became harder to control. Local police were eventually brought in, not to arrest anyone, but to manage safety as hundreds of people packed into the area. Videos from the scene also show police forming lines and pushing people back as the crowd pressed forward. Then within hours, a viral clip began circulating on social media claiming that ICE had shown up and started making arrests at the giveaway. Which is a crazy statement. So, from what I can see, the uniforms say police, but there's no reported actual arrests, so it seems like the event was just so chaotic that the cops showed up and scared a lot of people to the point where they thought ICE was arresting people. Kind of like someone yelling fire in a crowded theater. People just didn't know what was going on. So, the police were potentially there because the crowd had just got too big, and the event lacked the structure and security needed to actually handle it. If I were to guess, it seems like they didn't have the proper crowd control in place for an event like this either. So, no, this wasn't some government ICE raid, it was just crowd control at a poorly planned public gathering. But for many fans, that wasn't even the worst part, because as the event kept going, there were multiple ways people could win prizes. There was a truck where Aiden and his team was throwing things out of, games to play and win, and for whatever reason, a boxing match. And I don't know, making two random fans box for $5,000 sounds like a massive liability to me. Could just be me though, who knows? But like, I don't know, it kind of comes across as turning your fan base into a circus for your own entertainment rather than an actual holiday giveaway. Like did it just go down as like, hey guys, punch each other with no training and I'll give you money? And they're just kind of like, okay, yeah, we want $5,000. What could go wrong? But I guess the worst alleged part of this giveaway is that some of the winners allegedly didn't actually win anything. So several people are now claiming that they were given golden bracelets or golden tickets, which meant they were prize winners. So they then waited in line, some for over an hour, expecting to receive some sort of gift that they'd been promised. Instead, they were told to leave.
We missed out on all that. They kept us in here like, we missed out on all that.
And then to make things even worse, according to multiple people, police informed the crowd the event had to be shut down by around 10 p.m. So then when people with the winning bracelets asked if they could stay longer to collect their prizes, they were allegedly told no. So honestly, what was the point of even winning? Now, to be fair, Aiden did address this. He basically said the police said the cutoff for the venue was coming and that everyone had to leave. And Aiden also said that he was going to send the winners their prize.
Shit, gang, I don't know.
But to me, it just seems like another resort of just really poor planning. Because when you do a live event, you have to keep track of the time. Like, he should have known when the cutoff time was, or at least his team should have. Like, people shouldn't be waiting after hours just to get their prize and then suddenly find out, oh, time ran out. Sorry, guys, you guys have to leave empty-handed tonight. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is the organizer's fault. And I feel like this is obvious, but hosting an in-person event is not the same as doing a live stream or handing out digital prizes. It requires permits, crowd management, security, communication, and planning just in case something goes wrong. And in this case, the event was extremely chaotic and left a lot of people angry, but it easily also could have been dangerous. But even though some of the stuff that happened kind of makes sense, a lot of it also, in a way, seems staged. Like, what do you mean Santa was arrested? to me, this seems staged because there's no way you hire a Santa in there and the Santa acts out and gets arrested. That doesn't add up to me, at least. But by no means is hosting any type of event easy, as crowds are just extremely unpredictable, especially that fan base, because it's always the streamers, the younger audience, that create riots every time they do something like this. Because it wasn't too long ago, Kai Cenat had New York City looking like a scene from Zombieland. But hey, at least from what we know, no one got hurt. So that's good, at least. So that was the chaos that I wanted to cover. A bunch of you guys emailed me saying you should cover this. So here's that video. So subscribe if you're new, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, so I didn't realize that this was the video, or the last video I made this year. So real quick, Happy New Year's. Thank you guys so much for all the support on the channel. I'm here with one of my editors, Hans.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's. Merry Christmas. Thank you all for everything, and I'm excited to come with a whole bunch more content next year. I'm taking tomorrow off, though. Have a good one, guys. Peace.
I'm gonna stop streaming.